Hello there guys, LazyBeast here. Now, with World of Warcraft, it's quite easy to fall into a trap of thinking that you need to keep up with all the current systems, logging in every day, doing things like core tier, dailies, Torghast, running the same dungeons, doing the same raid each week, stuff like that. And doing all this on repeat for a few days or even weeks can just lead to the game feeling like a job, and let's not lie about it, some of the systems currently in the game simply just do feel like a job, hence the name Torghast. This is just amplified if you're a person that plays multiple alts and you're literally just doing the same content multiple times each time you play. It's just no fun. Now, at this point, some of you will say, if you're just not enjoying the game, just go and play something else. And yes, I agree, you should, that's a really good idea. Or simply just take a break from gaming and come back when you're ready for some more. But there's people out there, and you might be one of them, who just want to play World of Warcraft, and maybe you've tried other things like Final Fantasy XIV, for example, and maybe you just couldn't get into it, so you've now come back to World of Warcraft, but you're still feeling a bit bored. So in this video, I'm going to go over some things that you can do to basically spice up your gaming time in World of Warcraft with the aim to bring some enjoyment back into the game. So it basically all boils down to mixing things up, stepping out of your comfort zone and doing things that are different to what you normally do. And you can kind of put these in two categories of change, character-based changes and content-based changes. So first of all, let's go through character-based things that you can do. So these may be quite simple and obvious at first, but if you've always played as one faction, for example, but you've maybe been intrigued by the other faction, go make a character on there. If you've always been Alliance, go play Horde, and vice versa. If you've never played Horde, for example, then questing through Silverpine Forest when you're leveling up on the undead side of things is actually really interesting to do. It's a good quest line through there, so that's highly recommended. There are still quite a lot of faction-specific quests and storylines that you can do and experience, which are really worth going back and trying out if you've never done them before. Now, following this similar line, if you are going to change faction, or even if you're going to stick with your current faction but want to level something new, don't forget there's the allied races that you can go and unlock and level up, and if you do that, then you can get the specific allied race transmog sets as well. The whole leveling process from 1 to 60 is quite nice now, especially with Exile's Reach to start you off for the first few levels, so that could definitely be a nice change of pace for you and something different to do. Another simple swap you could make, which could spice things up, is just literally changing up your class or even just changing up your spec. Don't get stuck on the idea that you have to play a meta spec. This video and the ideas are about the realization that you don't need to play what the guides tell you to play. Because this isn't about pushing the crazy hard content where you should probably play a meta spec. We just want to play whatever seems fun and just have a mess about. Remember that this is a game, so do what you enjoy. And the same goes for roles too, so if you've never tried tanking and you've always been put off by it, you found it an intimidating prospect to get in there and start tanking dungeons, just do it. Just start off, tank heroic dungeons, tank normal dungeons if you're really scared about it, and then get into mythics and then work your way up. Or if you've never healed, it's a totally different feel when you play as a tank or healer compared to playing as a DPS, so give it a try. So there's a few things you can try character-wise. Now let's go through some content-based things that you can try. So if you're big into either PvP or PvP, switch it up again. Have a little go of the other side of the game. And I don't necessarily even mean try pushing to the top end of that. You don't need to go smashing mythic 15s and 20s or whatever straight away. Just do it casually. I do totally understand that sometimes from a PvE player, if that's all you've ever done and then you want to go into PvP, it can be very daunting, especially arenas. Everything's so fast paced, you often don't know what you're doing, and it just feels bad to just go in and lose all the time. So start off casually, go into some random battlegrounds, some epic battlegrounds, and don't get too hung up on whether you win or lose either. Just go in there, even if all you do is just farm a bit of honour. You might even find that you really enjoy yourself, and eventually you start trying to be a bit more tactical in your gameplay, and you're trying to win these battlegrounds, and you may even find that you want to go and try some rated battlegrounds down the line. Now the next big thing you can do is it's a massive area of the game, and it's something where you can set yourself some goals. Now this can be a big factor on your enjoyment of the game. Usually if you've got nothing to work towards, this is when you start doing the mundane, boring, repetitive content, and that's when you burn out on the game. So achievement hunting is something you can do. Now this will force you to go into literally every aspect of the game and push yourself. Some of the achievements are incredibly easy, while others are super hard, either requiring a great amount of skill or a big time investment to eventually achieve. But there's something for everyone here. What I would recommend you do is go through your achievements log and decide on a specific set of them to complete first, for example the exploration ones, which are quite easy if you've not already got those, and set yourself some goals so you don't feel overwhelmed by it. There's some add-ons you can get to help you with this too. One of them is called Overachiever, so you might want to download that to help you focus on your specific goals. Now achievements are basically the umbrella that covers everything that I'm about to go over in these next few sections, so let's get on with those. And you'll see that these all tie in quite nicely together. So we're going to go through the collections and things you can go and hunt down. So a lot of this does tie in with the achievements because some of these things are direct rewards from completing certain achievements. In fact, a lot of these tie in with each other because completing one kind of activity usually has a reward in one type of collection. So the first obvious one that you can go and hunt down is mounts. There's a ridiculous amount of mounts in this game and they come from all sorts of different sources, whether that's from farming old raids, buying them off the auction house, or even crafting them. As well as mounts, there's transmog farming that you can go and do. Now, you can either do this for yourself to complete your collections and give yourself the best possible options for when you're transmogging your characters, or you could hunt down some super rare items to simply sell on the auction house and get some nice gold. Now, most of the transmog that you'll get will come from farming old raids and dungeons, but there are also some quests and things that reward transmog items too, some of them being quite unique rewards and highly sought after. If you're going to go down the route of doing old raids and dungeons, I would recommend doing this on a warrior character if possible, because they can equip and therefore unlock the appearances for every weapon and armor type in the game. There are also toys that you can go and collect. Now, the vast majority of them, you probably won't use them very often, you just sort of collect and forget, which is a bit of a bummer. But there's some toys that change your appearance, which you can use on any character. Some of them do have level requirements, so maybe you can't use them on lower level alts, but on your main, it's just fun sometimes whapping out a really cool, unique appearance. And sometimes it's just fun to mix things up. As well as these, you've got titles as well, which don't really spice things up that much, but they are pretty cool. There's some really good titles out there for completing certain achievements mainly. And there's also pets. Now, there's battle pets. Some of them don't fight, but most of them do. Now, yet again, tying in with the collections thing, if you've been doing any of the above that we've already mentioned, you'll likely already have a lot of battle pets you can go and level up and use in the pet battle system. Although this is one of the less popular aspects of World of Warcraft, it is something that you may find yourself actually enjoying, so why not give it a go? So there's a couple more things that you can do as well. Now, one of them being gold making. Now, some people love this aspect of the game. With World of Warcraft having its own economy, some people literally just spend most of their time in Warcraft making gold. So I recommend, if you're interested in this, checking out channels such as Samadam on YouTube. I'll link to him in the description, and Wowhead's weekly gold making post as well. They give you some little tips and inspiration on things that you can start doing. Now, tying in with this massively is professions. Now, you may be the guy that just literally buys everything he needs off the auction house with money that you've earned through questing and raiding, for example, but sometimes skilling up and crafting something yourself can feel really satisfying, and then you even have the option to craft things like transmog items, pets, mounts, and other things to sell to other people on the auction house. Now, there's also personal challenges that you can set yourself, which can really spice things up. Now, if you've been around Warcraft for quite a while, you've probably heard of the Iron Man challenge, which is where you only use white or grey gear. You set a lot of restrictions on yourself, such as not being able to use the auction house, not being able to join guilds, not being able to do dungeons, all that sort of stuff, and level up by killing and questing, and you basically try not to die. If you die, the challenge is over. Now, there's a website about this called Warcraft Challenges, which I will also link in the description. If you're interested in this sort of stuff, go and have a look at that. But that's something you can really do to change things up. Now, you've probably also heard people say that World of Warcraft is so much better when you play it with friends or when you've got a good guild to do things with, and that is absolutely the case. Now, if you are a solo World of Warcraft player, I can understand your pain. I was like that for a long time. I understand how hard it is to find things like a guild when you don't have friends like that you know in real life as well that also play the game. So what I intend to do is do a video sometime soon about tips that I can give you on how you can find yourself a good guild that, you know, does things that you want to do, which will hopefully help you out if you're in that position. Do let me know in the comments if that's something that you really would benefit from, and I'll try and get that out as quick as I can. So there we go, guys, that's the video on how you can hopefully inject some more fun back into World of Warcraft through things that you can do yourself. It's totally in your control what you do in the game, so don't fall foul to just sticking to the same old repetitive nonsense every day. Have some fun. And if you find that Warcraft just isn't floating your boat anymore, then that's totally fine. Go and play a different game, or have a break from gaming completely and do something different in real life, maybe even go outside. And if you've got any other things that you do in game, any other ideas, then let other people know in the comments. It'd be really helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. It really helps the channel out a lot, and consider subscribing for more content like this. I've been LazyBeast, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.